Alrighty, so we are starting from the roof today. There is a crawl space access right over the lip here, but that would have been a very cramped fit to get this whole thing down there. So we're not using that today. Also out there in the alley, you can barely see it, but there is a cleanout out there. It is a single sweep that leads directly to the city main, about 15 feet. Because it is a sweep, it does not let us come back in towards the line. There's a collar there that is broken and needs to be replaced, resealed. That should be a pretty easy fix, but we're going to go ahead and hop inside and see what we can see. We have a bunch of lovely old copper construction here. We were running water earlier, so if there are any low points, those would already be filled. See a couple indents here. The line has succumbed to external factors, but is not compromised. Here we have our transition point, or tie-in, 27 feet to PVC. And then some cast iron underneath the foundation wall here. See heavier scale build up here, significantly heavier. So I'm going to recommend this be cleaned. Then, 34 feet, we actually have our real transition point. Looks like we do have a clean out here that is buried. So I'm going to recommend that that also be made accessible. Go ahead and push into the external line here. And we have clay. Now, clay is a perfectly fine material. It is fantastic, has held up against the test of time. There's clay lines out there in Denver that are over 100 years old because they've been taken care of. But we've also seen clay lines from the 50s that aren't in so great condition because people never took care of them. Now, the fact that we do have some PVC in this line and PVC out towards the main tells me that there were problems that were fixed at some point in time. This line is going to need regular maintenance. I'd say clean it every 2 years, 2 to 3, to manage for root growth and scale build up in the cast iron. We do have a largely dead tree back here. Most of it has been cut off, but it is still growing some. That and those root structures will often be used by other plants, such as the grasses and bushes out here in the back. They will tie into those root systems. They'll drink from the tree's root system and in return photosynthesize for the tree. So even if that tree does go away completely, those roots will likely be held onto by the other plants and foliage. We have heavier grading loss here. We'll take a closer look at this and measure it on the way back, as we tend to do. Let's see, we've got pretty high saturation point there, and we don't return to good pitch away from the home. Even after that, we have more grading loss. We're going to need to flush some water, proof flow at the main, and then we're going to need to measure that on our way back. We're already seeing some heavier roots. And here we have a clay to PVC connection. We can see a root here tells me that's compromised, but also the fact that they did the connection like this, there's a huge offset here, which is difficult for cleaners to move past. This clean out here at 97 feet is going to be the one out here in the alley. Yeah, you can see that that joint is not held on very well. So we're going to have to locate that as well. This should push us into the main here. very hard to see with the water running over the camera right now. I'm not seeing any issues there with that. So we're going to go ahead and pull back, do a locate there at 97 feet to have that joint repaired, because again, roots in any sort of PVC is an instant failure. Once you get PVC involved, that connection becomes a zero tolerance connection, so no root intrusions whatsoever can be allowed at that connection. We have that guy right there, front and center. So we're going to go ahead and locate that and start pulling back and measuring out our grading loss and load points. Alright, so we got that located. This is a super shallow line. That point came in at just about 4 feet deep, which makes these repair costs much lower than they could have been otherwise. can see here that we still have water flowing from the toilet flush I did. And it is just slow. Because we have all the grading loss and possible low point back here. Looks like we also have an offset here at 87 feet, which is not helping, or 85. So we're going to go ahead and measure from here. So it looks like we actually really begin to get our grading loss around 65 feet. So I'm going to call it 65 to 85 for repair, just because the grading there is pretty awful. You can see here now that the water has settled from me pulling back through it, that it's all starting to really bank around here. So this is at bare minimum where we want to start doing our repairs. This is holy water. Back here. Alright, we're going to go ahead and do our first locate here, then push back out to 85 and do one there. Alright, so 85 is where that offset is and about where the low point ends. But we still have some grading loss after that. We don't actually return to good pitch until 91 feet. So we're actually going to bring that back out another 6 feet. Make sure that when these repairs are done, we're actually tying on to line that has good pitch. Because if you pull back and you go exactly where that water ends, you still have that back pitch, you're still going to have grading issues with this line. Alright, we've got all that located, so we're going to go ahead and pull out of the line and double check our work on the way back. There's a really good example of it here at 28 feet in the cast iron. We can see the line channeling here. So the water, instead of moving straight down the center, has been shifted to the left here because of a bunch of scale buildup built on the right side. I'm going to recommend a cleaning for this to make sure that this flows properly and to ensure that the line does not back up in the near future.